Howdy, everybody. It's Thrash Life episode 12.
Oh, you can go. Hello and welcome to Thrash Life.
No, not today. Not today. Today is February 18th. Today we'll be talking about Maryland Deathfest, Spotify again, Billie Eilish, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Today is National Drink Wine Day.
Yeah, probably. I'm not going to participate.
Oh, okay. Well, it's also National Children of Alcoholics Awareness Week. So,
Aware of what that's like.
it's pretty rough. It's also No One Eats Alone Day, which is good because it's also National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day and National Kraut and Frankfurter Week, National Jello Week, and the Great American Pizza Bake.
Just the other day was National Pizza Day. So what is this one? What is
This one is a celebration of baking the pizza. So it's encouraged that everybody grabs some ingredients and bake some sort of weird fucking concoction that you call a pizza.
How do you cook your pizzas? You deep frying them?
No, generally like a toaster oven.
Okay.
For the longest
like a broil kind of a thing.
Yeah, I got. We use like a pan to do one of those tombstone pizzas.
Yeah.
But with a gas oven, it's kind of rough to predict those temperatures in there. It gets kind of wild. You're eating all this food. Just know that it's National Cardiac Rehabilitation Week. You might have a heart attack from eating all this stuff, and getting back on your feet after that, it's pretty rough. It's Random Acts of Kindness Week, so be nice, and maybe it'll lead to the next one, which is International Flirting Week.
Ooh, how you doing, Ed?
And if your flirting takes off, it's also National Condom Week.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure
wrap it up.
Have some safe times.
I can't see a segue on this one, dog.
Maybe related, maybe not related. Take your family to school week after you forget that it's National Condom Week 9 months from now, or 9 months and 5 years, and have a child. They're going to take you to school this week so you can see what it's like.
Or if you are a college student, hopefully not a high school student in this situation, but you may be taking the baby to school with you.
Could be. If your kid grows up a complete, home buddy staying with you and well under their 30s, it is Freelance Writers Appreciation Week. So all the freelance writers out there,
good
thank
luck.
You. Yeah, get on Amazon and sell your ebooks and stuff. I got nothing for these last two. It's National Battery Day and Pluto Day, which I assume is when they said that Pluto is or isn't a planet.
It is now, right? Currently,
I have no idea. Yeah. They said it wasn't, and then they said it was again.
Maybe it's the Disney character and not the planet.
It had the image of the planet on the website. But if you're down with the Disney character, Pluto is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I believe that's Goofy's dog, right?
I believe so.
Okay. Some quick hits. Rest in peace to Ian McDonald, founding member of King Crimson and Foreigner. He was surrounded by his friends and family. He had double vision. Now he's cold as ice.
Dude. Oh, moving on.
John Appleton, composer who helped create the digital synthesizer.
Oh, man.
Nothing to say with him. Digital synthesizer is pretty cool.
Yeah. How about that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah. They announced the nominees for the 2022 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I believe there's like 17 or so names on here. We'll go through them real quick and get some little notes here about which ones are their first nomination.
All right.
We have Beck, first nomination. Beck responsible for that album Odelay. I mean, he's been, on that show Futurama, which they announced is coming back.
Beck's pretty respectable musician, pretty well rounded.
Yeah, he plays washboards and all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
2 turntables and a microphone. Is that him?
Yeah, that's
where
him.
it's at. All right. Maybe. I'm not sure about his lasting legacy or whatever, but I guess before we even get into this too much, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't know why they necessarily call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's the Hall of Good.
It's just a Hall of Fame of stuff, and maybe the people who vote on it are rock and roll, but the people who are inducted into it are not necessarily.
I think they've morphed rock and roll into just mainstream music.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff with it, and they do have a museum in Cleveland where they put some artifacts from each band that they induct in there and change the exhibits and whatnot.
Yeah.
Continuing on, Pat Benatar, who has apparently been on here before. Hit me with your best shot. Was that her?
Yeah, fire away.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean,
I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah.
Kate Bush.
Don't know who Kate Bush is.
Well, Kate Bush is actually pretty cool. She's a British self-composer, one-woman band sort of thing.
Okay.
Does a lot of her own production, songwriting, dance performance, and stuff. She's got some crazy dances in her music videos. If you ever want to give it a look up on the old YouTubes. I think Kate Bush, pretty influential to a lot of people. I hope she gets in, personally. I think.
Okay.
We got Devo next.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, Devo is kind of weird. It's just a bunch of guys in weird hats.
They just want to put one of those hats in the museum, so they have to get them.
It is iconic. It's iconic pyramid hat thing.
But yeah, I guess it's like you're saying, why should the whole artist get into a Hall of Fame when it's really just this hat and this album cover was very
yeah. Do they have much
remarkable?
Many other singles beyond Whip It? Not sure. Leave a comment if you know. Duran, first time being nominated.
Okay.
Hungry Like the Wolf.
Well,
her name is Rio.
Yeah.
Lots of other things. I'm a big fan of Duran.
Yeah.
They're like the height of 80s. I don't know if you could even call them indie because they weren't necessarily very independent, but that's sort of.
I like it. I wouldn't have a problem with them getting in.
Next one, kind of weird, but goes with what we were saying earlier, where, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is not strictly rock and roll. Eminem nominated for the first time. The rapper Marshall Mathers, Slim Shady. He's going to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or as of this
playing wide receiver for the Rams.
As of this airing, the Super Bowl will be decided. We're actually recording this on the 13th.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, his performance will allow him to sneak into this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think he actually has a good shot because a lot of people identify super hard with Eminem and his music. And I just, it's not for me, but, other people like it.
In high school, I listened to his first 2 albums quite a bit. So while we're on the subject, who do you got tonight?
Not sure.
Okay. I'm going with LA. Going with the Rams.
Well, usually I don't go with the Rams because the Rams are we're the rivals.
The Raiders' enemy,
rival. Yeah, so, I mean, was it the Cats?
Yeah, the Bengals.
Yeah. I guess we're going with the Bengals. We'll see. Right. We'll see. On Friday, this episode will be posted, and you'll see
which one of us is right.
Yeah, how we doing. Next up, the Eurythmics. Remember them?
I mean, I know the name, but
they had one of those. Was it "You Spin Me Right Round" or one of those one-hit wonder 80s songs?
Don't want them in.
Judas Priest in here. I believe last year was their first time being nominated or something. And
Jesus, let's get that done already.
Yeah, Judas Priest should probably be in here.
Yeah.
The next one is Fela Kuti, who I have no idea who they are, but they've apparently been nominated before.
Okay.
So I don't know. Good
Fuck it,
luck.
let's get them in there.
Yeah, why not? MC5, they're like,
Yeah.
5 MCs, I believe. This
think
is
it was
MC Heiser's side project.
no, I think it was just an actual band.
Oh, okay. Well, this is not their first time being nominated either, so best of luck, MC5. New York Dolls.
Hmm.
Not much of a doll guy, but
Yeah.
I mean, GI Joes were all the rage when I was a kid, I suppose. Still
Yeah.
are. Last episode we just was the last episode we were talking about action figures. Who knows?
Yeah, we were.
Those are dolls.
Yep.
Speaking of dolls, Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
First time.
Really?
Now,
Oh,
like
she's
we
probably
said,
in like
she's
country music Hall of Fame.
Yeah, she's got to be in some sort of country music Hall
Yeah.
of Fame. I guess she qualifies as rock and roll now because she decided to give people like free education and stuff. I'm not sure if you saw the headline where all the employees of Dollywood will be getting a very large education compensation, like all their further education paid for by Dolly Parton. And
Well, I think this is a little unfair to her because I don't think she should get in, but I don't want to take anything away from her.
right.
And there's other people on here that are not necessarily rock and roll, so I guess let's get her in there.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Dolly Parton as a human being. Some of her songs.
I like her music.
Yeah. I'm more of a Loretta Lynn in the country music fan. Rage Against the Machine, second time being nominated, or wait, maybe more than second time. Not their first time being nominated. Super iconic, face of the '90s.
I mean, that's rock and roll.
Yeah.
What are they doing? They should be in.
They should have been in on the first go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lionel Richie, first time being nominated.
Why did they wait so long?
I mean, definitely iconic. Definitely not inspiring me to be like, yes, Lionel Richie,
I think
yes.
that kind of shows how weak of a chance he has that Rage Against the Machine has been nominated several times before he even got his first look.
Mm-hmm. Carly Simon, also first time being nominated. I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
Okay. A Tribe Called Quest, first time being nominated. Maybe.
Yeah. I like Tribe Called Quest, but I don't
also
know
like them.
if it's like, I don't know. Yeah. I guess, let's get them in there.
And
We're packing the joint.
Warwick. I don't know who that is either. So call me ignorant.
Leave it in the comments. Yeah. Enlighten us as to who these people are that we didn't have any information on.
Now, there's going to be a portion of this, I believe, possibly even active right now, where fans can go on the Rock Hall of Fame website and vote for their favorite nominee, and the top 5 out of those voted people will have some sort of extra benefit. Now, this is like a group of 1,000 or so private consultants from all ranges of the industry get together to vote on this stuff. So us common folk, we don't get a say besides these 5 little votes that they hand out, and they want you to spam their website with your clicks every day. So for your favorite people. With that in mind, I'm not really sure who has the most mobilized internet presence that will click every day. I would say
Priest, maybe
Priest, maybe Devo. Those guys are some pretty techno guys. Maybe their fans are pretty hip with the computers. But I'd imagine the newer bands, maybe like a Tribe Called Quest, Rage Against the Machine. These people who have much younger fans who are always on the internet, possibly.
Yeah. I have a strong feeling nobody will care.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, very few people actually care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's why in 2023 we'll be launching the Medusa Head Media Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
And it will promptly close the next day. Let's talk about Kanye West and Billie Eilish.
Hmm.
So,
What
Billie
is it with
Eilish.
Kanye and always having beef with these like girls?
Kanye has beef with the world right now, I
True.
guess, after breaking up with his wife.
Wife,
Were
yeah.
they
I
married? I
believe they
think.
were married, yeah.
Um, so Billie Eilish stopped her February 5th concert to help a fan who had trouble breathing, and her onstage remark was, "I will wait for people to be okay until I keep going." Kanye took this as a slight against Travis Scott, who we covered very early on in the podcast. He was the one who ignored the pleas of the crowd and allowed multiple
Right.
people at his festival to be crushed to death and multiple others to be injured. He is, as of this recording, in the middle of ongoing lawsuits, I believe
We
hundreds of
still
which.
have not gotten to the bottom yet of whether or not that was actually satanic sacrifice either. Still waiting for
Yes.
those
Yeah, yeah.
results.
Um, so, you know, Kanye sees Billie Eilish. I don't know how he saw Billie Eilish say this, but he says in all caps, "Come on, Billie, we love you. Please apologize to
Wait, I just
Trav."
imagine him. Come on, Billy, we all love you.
Yeah. "Please apologize to Trav and to the families of the people who lost their lives. No one intended this to happen. Trav didn't have any idea of what was happening when he was on stage and was very hurt by what happened. And yes, Trav will be with me at Coachella, but now I need Billy to apologize before I perform."
Hmm.
Now, he demanded this
Holy lack
apology,
of punctuation.
and Billie Eilish literally just like commented on his post on Instagram and was like, "Literally never said a thing about Travis, was just helping a fan," which is true. And if Kanye's got a problem, you know, I think they should just let him walk off and pout about it and not play his show because
I think
he has to.
Billy's the bigger draw right now, anyways. So I don't think he'll win this one.
Yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous. Travis Scott, top tier jabroni of the earth, deserves to get wrecked by these lawsuits. Just complete clown, complete clown. And you know what? Kanye also a bigger clown.
Yeah, Kanye's been a clown for a while. That's a shame.
We were talking about Spotify last time.
Hmm.
A band decided to write 1,000 songs of the length 30 seconds each to protest Spotify's pay rate.
Right.
And this band is called the Pocket Gods, and they made a 1,000 song album called 1000x30 Nobody Makes Money Anymore. The idea was inspired by an independent article by music professor Mike Errico, who questioned if a 3-minute song is even viable anymore, given that Spotify pays an artist after 30 seconds, and asked, "Are you in fact screwing yourself 6 times over for writing a 3-minute song?" They said, "I saw the article and it made me think, why write longer songs when we get paid little enough for just 30 seconds? So we wrote and recorded 1,000 songs, each a shade over 30 seconds long for the album. The longest is 36 seconds. It's designed to raise awareness about the campaign for fair royalty rates. You can stream the very aptly named songs 0.002 and Nobody Makes Any Money Anymore on the platform. On the 0.002 title, Lee adds, "We used to get a 0.007 pence a play." They're British.
Right.
Still
I
a
think it's
pittance.
pounds, isn't
Something like that.
it?
But it seems to have been cut since Spotify bought the Joe Rogan Experience for 100 million. So they're saying
Mhm.
that
They've been
after
harmed by
after the
that. Yeah.
deal, yeah, they went
Okay.
from 7 So from point
That's
zero
a
zero 0.007 to 0.002
that's
per
a hell
push.
of a percentage to lose, even though it's nothing either way.
Yeah.
But still.
Um, Whether or not Spotify lets the album to continue to exist on the platform is another story, but it does fall directly in line with Eriko's feelings and should be an interesting experiment. This has echoes of a similar stunt pulled by Wolfpack in 2014, where the band released an album of silence on Spotify and made $20,000 in royalties from it. So, you know, uh, this is also a thing that gets brought up with making albums. I still see bands on Facebook putting out albums. You know, there are
Yeah.
a couple guys right now. I'm not going to name any names, but I mean, as you can imagine, they booked 2 weeks of studio time. They're going in there 2 days tracking guitars and 2 days tracking drums, and you throw all this out there, and it's just one brick. And in the online, less than 24-hour news cycle world, if it just gets lost, if you just throw that one thing out there and it gets lost versus throwing 12 songs
Yeah,
out
one
there
at a time.
one at a time, it's the amount of effort that they're putting into it. I mean, I understand you really want to put out great songs that really reflect your band and the best that you can do. um but the disparity between the effort going in and the result coming out, or the potential to just get lost in the shuffle, is huge.
It's also that the the album doesn't really make sense in the current market because everything's a single. You can listen to any song you want to now. You don't have to wait for it to come on the radio. You don't have to buy an album to get that song and then end up listening to the rest just because. So there's really no reason for full albums to even exist anymore. Everything should just be released as a single.
Yeah, now they're bringing it down to maybe we shouldn't be
Micro
making
songs.
three. I was already thinking this in regards to like when TikTok had a 60-second limit. Like,
Yeah.
if you want your music to be featured on different platforms, like, in a lot of ways, people just aren't listening to songs that are longer than a minute. And in many
Hmm.
cases, they're not giving you more than the first 20 seconds of the song before they figure if you're going to switch off of it. So,
Yeah.
like, you really need to make your statements in your art a lot faster these days, and you need to spread them out as
Yeah.
much as you
I'm not
can.
saying that it's a good thing. It's just I definitely believe this is where we're headed towards
Yeah.
these little micro bits of song. You just give me the sweet spot in 30 seconds.
Yeah. I'm not saying like bands should like actually convert all their songwriting to like 30 seconds and like only doing singles, but you should definitely like have it as part of your strategy, because you want to like try to hit all
Yeah.
corners, as it were. Spray and pray,
Yeah,
as they
makes
say.
sense. Um so I got a little something I'm gonna be sipping on here. Trogues Double Nugget Nectar, which
Double
was
nugget.
given to me by Justin. So thank you, Justin.
Oh,
It's very hard to find. I couldn't find any.
nice.
So let's see.
A little crack and sip for you here. We got 9.5% alcohol and
That's double. That's for sure.
Munich malt.
So yeah, Trogues Brewery, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Nice. Best enjoyed with a chalice. You don't happen to have a chalice with you today.
Ah, damn. We don't have. I forgot my chalice.
What would you rate the double nugget nectar?
Well, it is about 10 a.m. right now, so it's a little rough. I'm not gonna lie,
Not a morning sipper,
but
eh?
it's good. It is very good. I'd probably give it an 8.
Nice. Would you reach for this or the normal nugget nectar if you have a chance?
I kind of just like the normal nugget nectar, but this is a nice little, you
Ah,
know, boosted thing to have every now and again.
right on. Right on. Well, thanks for the generous donation of beer.
Yeah.
And we'll consider cracking open another one on the next episode. Maybe a beer made by some jabroni like Dave Mustaine. Speaking of Spotify, certified jabroni David Draiman from the band Disturbed, as we titled him last time, um, He came out just on Spotify, swinging at everybody who's against Spotify, saying, "For all those attacking Spotify, young and old, we would do well to remember a couple things called music piracy and BitTorrent sites, both of which still exist, by the way." That's my comment. Before streaming took hold, both artists and the very music industry itself was on the verge of collapse. Why? Because the heads of the major labels at the time refused to see the future when a young Sean Fanning and Sean Parker, the guys behind a little startup called Napster, approached them with a new way to reach their consumers at unprecedented levels.
Why has he got to talk like such a neckbeard? Like, oh, this little thing called Napster. You may have heard of it.
And they shut them down. So instead, Fanning and Parker let Napster do its thing for free. Piracy and BitTorrent sites soon followed, along with the new perception that music should be free. Artists suffered, record labels suffered, and the industry itself nearly collapsed. It took streaming to bring it back to life. Streaming made the labels profitable again. Profitable again.
Hmm.
Made catalog artists regain a royalty stream and made piracy obsolete.
No.
Streaming made legacy artist catalog like Neil Young and others tremendously valuable. Doubt.
I think it helped with the value. I think that's actually a sort of valid point.
It created the current environment where people stream their music and where musicians had the opportunity to sell their catalogs, which had regained their value like Neil did.
So right there, I did notice that a lot of these people pulling off Spotify are the same people that we've been covering that have sold their catalogs. I can't find like a reason why there's a correlation there or anything, but it is interesting.
Well, the one person who called out Joe Rogan for using the N word multiple times, that artist, India Airy, I think was her name. She requested that her stuff be pulled down, and her label refused.
Ooh.
So in some of these cases, clearly you don't own your music.
Have
you
your
can't
rights.
actually make the call to do this.
Damn, that sucks though.
But so they continue, or David Draiman continues. Could or should Spotify have a better streaming royalty rate? I believe so, but it doesn't take away the fact that without streaming, there would no longer be a music industry. And these artists who are complaining after they already sold their catalogs for gargantuan sums of money would be liquidating their assets. Many would be struggling to survive. Are you artists? You want to blame someone? Blame the heads of the labels in the days prior to Napster who refused to adopt new technology in favor of an antiquated retail system that had a higher profit margin. Blame your lawyers and your management for not negotiating a better royalty percentage in your respective record deals, and blame yourselves for not paying attention to it. The majority of the legacy artists out there have newfound riches from streaming, and music fans have easier and higher quality access to the widest range of music in existence. In summary, stop bitching, educate yourselves, and read your damn contracts. Streaming saved music. Whether you want to accept it or not, it's the truth. It's always the truth when somebody types it in capital letters at you. Yeah, that's how you know it's
can't
the truth.
even say anything.
Yeah, it's fucking done now.
But, like, this music industry that he wants to prop up is what allows certified jabronis like him and his band to exist. Like,
yeah,
why not just burn the whole thing to the ground and let's start over?
It's there's an argument to be made, and was made at the time of Napster, with South Park making fun of Metallica, and Lars Ulrich complaining that he couldn't get his gold-plated Shark Tank or whatever. These artists have already made millions upon millions of dollars. They're not exactly hurting. Like, the industry wasn't going to go anywhere, and to think that, like, without the labels, that music suddenly, like, wouldn't exist or something, like, four people banging on rocks together, like, wouldn't be recorded and distributed to people.
It's just that also, if all this for-profit music did collapse, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm a fan of music being free, but you'd still have Bandcamp, and you'd have plenty of, like, honest and hungry artists out there creating good music. So music won't ever just like die. It's not like, well, the corporate overlords are not in charge anymore. There goes music.
Yeah, people were making music since the dawn of time. Like whether it was like communally as like a thing that you just did with the people who you were around,
Yeah.
or like an event that you traveled to go see in a town. You know, like it's not going away just because some guy in an ivory tower can't make a CD anymore. Like it's um it's a ridiculous concept, and I feel like David Draiman himself really wants to stick to that old model of having the label invested so much in them and
Yeah.
having this weird like middleman relationship where they don't have to maybe take the responsibility for promotion, pressing,
But yeah,
all the other
exactly. Like, I
stuff.
mean, yeah, if somebody has like the money to pay for a focus group to like tell you how to act and what to do to like sell better,
Yeah.
but he's not going to have that on his own. If he had to go independent, he'd probably have no following.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. I think he did try to go independent at one point, try to do a solo career. I could be
Hmm.
wrong on this, but he definitely seems the type to want to do a solo career,
Yeah,
like the whole like I'm an outspoken
could
lead
be. I
singer.
get him and the guy from Five Finger Death Punch confused all the time.
Yeah, I kind of get him confused with like the guy from Creed because
Oh
they're
yeah,
all came out at the same time.
yeah.
It's I got a little bit of criticism on the podcast that we're not supposed to wish all the best to people who actually suck. So I will not be wishing all the best to David Draymond.
We wish you all the worst.
Yeah, get your back broken.
Okay.
Our last story of the day is that Morbid Angel mysteriously drops off Maryland Deathfest. Now, Maryland Deathfest is a pretty big deal in these parts. We're recording in Baltimore, Maryland, and every year, well, I mean, aside from the COVID years, I believe,
Yeah.
which we're still in, but for
Light COVID years
reasons,
now.
yeah. So, they have this giant festival that has 60, 70 bands spread across 4 venues, different areas of the
Yeah.
city. And Morbid Angel was one of the larger bands, 80s metal band that was going to be one of the big ticket headliners of one of these lots at this festival. And MDF just came out and said, "We're pleased to say that for the first time ever, Deicide will be performing the Legion album in its entirety at MDF 2022. They will be performing Sunday, May 29th at the Edison lot." And they go on to say, "Morbid Angel will no longer be performing. Despite trying to convince them not to cancel, the only thing we've been told is that the band will not be playing MDF or any other shows in the current climate. So we'll let you interpret that however you see fit." How do you interpret it?
Man. Either it's the current COVID climate and they're doing this out of an abundance of caution, or they are afraid they're going to say something that's going to get them canceled.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's one or the other, but I don't know which.
So I did a little bit of digging into the past. I heard somebody say something about Nazi black metal bands and stuff
Okay,
being
yeah.
invited to play in the past.
Right.
Apparently, a show in 2018 or 2019 had some patrons, or at least one patron, who showed up and had some obscure Nazi black metal patch on their jacket,
Mm.
was asked by Autobar staff to either take off the jacket or get the fuck out, and the guy decided to argue, and they
Mm.
tossed his ass out, which led some people to,
You don't even ask them about the jacket. Nazi comes in your bar, they got to go. You
yeah,
can't
yeah,
have, with or without the jacket, he's still a Nazi.
yeah. So it's apparently they have a maybe slightly indiscriminate history with not vetting not like the bands to see if they're not Nazis ahead of
Yeah.
time. Also some concerns over some of these take place in lots and stuff like that,
Right.
and they're like open air in the city, and they're like subjecting a population that lives around the lot to having to deal with this festival when the population in that area doesn't like give a shit about the
Yeah.
festival. It's like not necessarily for or
They
by these
probably
people,
give a shit
the
because they
neighbors.
dislike it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of silent but maybe growing concerns over, the handling of Maryland Death Fest, and then obviously the COVID thing. Some of these being outdoor and some of these being indoor. The individual venues have their own rules for COVID stuff. So I believe
Mm,
two of the venues require proof of vaccination or negative test to get into the door. Obviously, the lots don't.
yeah,
So you see a lot of discussion on the Maryland Death Fest Facebook groups and stuff about like, you know, where they can view bands
right.
and that's leading to a perception amongst people that there's going to be unvaccinated, possibly sick people out in the crowd of these outdoor things next to
Mm,
them, which makes them a little uncomfortable. Kind of a weird thing, and I guess if you are Morbid Angel, it would be pretty easy to just throw your hands up and say, "I don't fucking know. I don't want anything to do with it. We'll see you in a couple years."
yeah,
Like the guarantee wasn't good enough to stay.
yeah,
Sorry. So I mean, yeah, you can imagine what are they're going to be offered a grand, a couple grand,
yeah.
some deli trace, and
Where are they
fucking.
from? What would
I
the
believe they're
travel situation
American,
be? Okay.
so somewhere in America. But you're
Yeah,
talking like 4 or 5 guys, gear,
yeah,
rentals at the very least,
yeah.
transportation, hotel, depending on what they're negotiating, how strong
I mean,
their rider is. You know,
yeah, that festival pulls in a lot of money, so I
it
bet
does.
they do have very good guarantees.
Yeah, it's pulling in an international crowd also, as the
Yeah,
international travel is largely opened up in
yeah,
many places. One of the things that I've always said, I believe you have agreed with from time to time in the past or currently, is that we could have in Baltimore 70 great headlining shows with these international, very strong acts. Like Morbid Angel could come through here on their own show, and then they could have 2 or 3 locals or a lower level national touring band to come through, and we could have a large variety and very many nights we could go out and see these shows. But because MDF comes through here and soaks up all of the acts together, this was especially true with bands like Electric Wizard. For the longest time they did not play
yeah,
in the US at all, and the one time they come through they don't do a national tour, they do MDF. So if you wanted to see Electric Wizard when they came through, you had to go to MDF, and that you were shit out of luck
yeah,
otherwise. Um,
yeah. I still believe that to a certain extent, but I guess I've also come to realize that breaking it up individually, you're not going to get like international travelers coming to Baltimore. A
it's
lot of
true.
bands don't even bother to stop in Baltimore on their tours anymore. I don't think that Baltimore itself would be enough of a good draw to make these shows all successful. So, kind of goes both ways.
I'm not sure if like the ecosystem has necessarily been starved because of the
Yeah,
festival
that could
things,
be
and
too.
like if I'm gonna do a tour, it's pretty easy for me to hop from Richmond to York or Harrisburg or Philly, and not really have to worry about Baltimore because I mean, we'll just wait for the best offer in that town, which is MDF.
Yeah,
Um, and it's the venue turnover as of late, get like losing a couple of these venues or the shuttering of the venues temporarily or
yeah,
not, as well as you know, uh, I mean, DRI was coming through. I believe that show has been rescheduled twice now because that venue
yeah.
shuttered on two
It's
separate
even
occasions.
changed hands at this point, I think.
Yeah, I believe some of the staff or
Yeah,
booking staff might have changed over. So yeah, it's pretty difficult to get this infrastructure even like started in Baltimore. It feels like we've just
yeah,
been starved of these national headlining shows. Even if
yeah,
they did come through, they'd really only be coming to what, the Auto Bar or um, Metro, I
yeah.
guess,
Or
Soundstage.
soundstage. I was gonna say the big room downtown.
Yeah.
That's where
Uh,
I would expect a good bit of them. And soundstage isn't really my favorite venue. It's not really the coolest place for like metalheads to go down into power plant and everything. So
Yeah, I miss Sonar. It's too bad the guy from
Yeah.
Sonar was like, what, dealing cocaine or something like that? Got
Yeah, I
busted
don't
for
remember.
something
All
big.
kind of crazy shit went on with that.
Yeah. Then it became some place that tried to have a rival Deathfest during
Oh yeah,
Deathfest.
that was a good time.
Yeah, that was interesting. Well, if you're going to Deathfest, I don't think that you're going to have a bad time. From what
No,
I
I've
hear,
been. It's just been probably at least a decade.
yeah, yeah. Um, there's uh, Deathfest does support a lot of awesome creators are able to sell their stuff as well as the bootleggers who make
Yeah,
cool like
it's
little patches and stuff. They're
yeah,
there too.
it is a cool thing to have like one of the large premier metal events right here in Baltimore. I just wonder, it, what is the name of the company responsible for? Is it just called Maryland Death
I
Fest?
guess
Because
so.
I would wonder if they ever book anything else in the area throughout the year, or if it really is just like a once a year.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Well, if you know, well,
Well,
go
yeah,
ahead and reach out.
yeah. I
Let
think
us
it's a
know.
cool event though. It's just too rich for my blood,
Yeah.
especially when I'm kind of picky about my music, and so like 3/4 of the bands on there, I'm not like stoked to see, so I'm paying for a lot of extra fat.
Yeah. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, tell us what you think about my idea. Do you think they're starving the city out of good shows, or do you just think we're fucked either way? Maybe you got a different opinion.
I don't think they're helping us. It's either a break even or a loss, but
I notice you have a game over here on the
oh
table.
yeah, yeah. So this is a new Ascension that I picked up last night. It's Curse of the Golden Isles. It's pirate themed, and they've added a mechanic where you have like a little ship card that can sail around the board and take cards. I don't know. I tried to play it last night. It's a very different from like standard Ascension,
Okay.
and the edibles kind of kicked in, and it's hard to start like reading and paying attention to stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
the game kind of got just cleaned up and put away. But I'm excited to give it another try. The mechanics seemed pretty cool when I worked on it, but just want to give a shout out to Games and Stuff for being there in my time of need. Plans got kind of wrecked at the last minute last night, and I looked at the clock. I was like, I can get the Games and Stuff at 8:51. I know exactly what I want. I'll just go in and get it.
Yeah.
So, across from Cromwell Light Rail Station, it's one of the better stocked game stores, I
Nice.
believe.
I
Yeah.
think they might have been open a little bit late last night because of the pre-release for the new Magic set, which
Oh,
I.
it was ghost town when I was in there. There
Oh,
was
okay.
nobody in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I went in there yesterday early afternoon to pick up some of the new Magic cards because I am a Magic the Gathering
Yeah.
collector and gamer. But
Yeah.
this is pretty cool. It looks like Eddie from Iron Maiden, the
Yeah. Yeah. I'm,
mascot.
I'm guilty of buying stuff based on the artwork a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And fun fact about this game was designed by Justin Gary. I believe that guy was a Magic the Gathering Pro Tour fellow or whatever. He definitely knows his way around a Magic card and designed the game Ascension to
Yeah.
be like that game.
I
So
love Ascension. This is probably like my 10th one that I've bought.
nice.
But yeah, I think it's cool. Games and Stuff are actually kind of lucky to have something in the area that's like in York, everything's a comic book store that also has a couple of games.
Right.
So to have a store that's totally dedicated to just gaming is pretty cool.
Yeah, they have definitely served me well over the years. From time to time, I've played some games in there.
Yeah. You got a large space in the back for organized events and
Yeah.
just casual gaming.
Listen to some bolt thrower and throw
Oh
a
yeah.
bunch of six-sided dice and move around a little tiny
Yeah. I would actually be
chaos
looking
men.
forward to rolling some dice once it's more safe too.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely leave a comment if you want to see some Warhammer 40,000 content in the
Yeah. Hell
future.
yeah.
Well, I am out of things to talk about, so let's go ahead and move on. Hey y'all, if you're watching the video, please thumbs up and subscribe. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, please consider leaving a review. We should be available on all podcast platforms, Vern. We're brought to you by Medusa Head Media. And if you want to collaborate on audio, video, or print projects, please give us a friendly email over at medusaheadmedia@gmail.com. This has been recorded at Orion Studios in Baltimore, Maryland, and thank you to Kyle, my co-host, my boy.
Yeah.
Thank you to Kermit the Frog, and of course, thank you for listening. Take care, partner. Yeehaw!